Welcome to the discussion of mock 15 VARC section, or as some of you may know it, All India Open Mock 2. So I hope you had a fabulous experience and an even better result. And in case you're not satisfied with your result, that's all right. Every test gives us some feedback. And if you work on that feedback, I am sure you are going to do well. So let's move on and discuss all the different questions that have been asked in this particular section in the given mock. So here comes the first passage of the section for us, and this passage goes ahead and talks about what? It talks about the electrification of the vehicles, it talks about the resentment involved, it talks about the multiple challenges. So the passage essentially starts with an anecdote. The second paragraph introduces us to this term called rolling coal. After that, we're saying that this form of protest is not the only thing that is happening in that war. And the author goes on to tell us in the next paragraph that these tensions are multifaceted. So multiple tensions written here. Then the author also tells us that electrification is vital and why. And then there is this element of politicization which has been brought in the subsequent paragraph. And then as usual, people just need to have two adversaries to fight, so that fight between each other, and therefore there is a certain section or segment which is doing that. And then they're also talking about Trump and Biden. So that's basically the passage. If you ask me, this is about electrification, why it is necessary, and the challenges, resentment, politicization that is happening all around it. So let us dive into the questions. Here is the first one. Which of the following statements best reflects the author's opinion? So let us start. How about A? The electric automobile has been embroiled in a cultural war against fossil fuel driven cars amidst rising tensions. Yes, that's true according to the passage. How about B? Politicians are trying to gain some advantage by politicizing the case for electric vehicles. Now, is this mentioned in the passage? Yes, but then if you look at it carefully, you'd realize that this has been put in the quote marks. It is the opinion of Andy Palmer, the head of Aston Martin, and not the opinion of the author. So does it reflect the author's opinion? No. C. Elon Musk has disrupted the car industry much more than any other individual or entity. So two problems. I think the passage actually ends with this. Has he disrupted the car industry, or has he disrupted the combustion engine driven cars? So that's point number one. Now we may still argue that okay, that disruption in itself is huge and he has disrupted the entire industry. Okay, given. But then it also makes a comparison and says that he has disrupted the car industry much more than any other individual or entity. See, it is possible for us to conclude that he has disrupted the car industry in a specific way when it comes to shift from combustion engines to electric vehicles. But there can be individuals in the past who disrupted the car industry in some other way. Remember Henry Ford, Model T, brought in the assembly line production, which was a huge disruption. So Elon Musk could have been the biggest disruptor when it comes to moving from ICE tech, combustion engine tech, to electric vehicles. But there can be other individuals who disrupted the industry in different ways prior to him. So this is something that cannot be determined from the passage. If I have to look at it as a conclusion, I'd say it is can't say. So let's eliminate this. It's not true because I already have something true. I'm eliminating C. Okay, D. The current US President Joe Biden is not interested in resurrecting the car industry. This is the opinion of Donald Trump and not the opinion of the author. So even this can be ruled out. So the best answer for us here is option A. Let's dive into our next question. Question number one, answer is A. Here is your question number 2. The author points out all of the following about electric vehicles except. So this is more of a specific detail question. So let us check. Electric vehicles are essential for environmental reasons. Yes. I'll just highlight the relevant part for you. Check this. Each one of these sentences has been picked up from the passage. So look at this word, electrification. Electrification is vital. Vital basically means what? Necessary, essential. So we can definitely infer A. So A has been given. B, electric vehicles emit no pollutants unlike conventional vehicles. Let's look at the next part. It is not mentioned explicitly, but if we read this bit, road transport accounts for 15% of global carbon emissions that need to be cut to zero by 2050 to prevent global heating reaching catastrophic levels. And this has been stated in the context of electrification is vital, right? So from this we can infer that electrification produces no emissions. C, it is the wealthy that use electric cars and not the masses. Is this true? Let me point to the relevant part. So look at this line from the passage. Politicians, newspapers and TV presenters from the right are drawing battle lines that crudely divide the supposedly eco-conscious wealthy. So you notice there are these multiple words. Number one, it is the opinion of some politicians, newspapers and TV presenters. Look at the kind of words that the author has used. Crudely, supposedly. It actually tells you that the author does not agree with it. And therefore, C is not true according to the passage. It's not given. D, the battle between electric vehicles and conventional vehicles is heterogeneous and complicated. Absolutely yes. Notice that paragraph, the third one that starts with those tensions are multifaceted. We can definitely infer D from there. So A, B and D are true. C is not true, and thus our answer to question number 2 should be option C. With that, let's dive into our next question. Which of the following conclusions follow from the information given in the passage? So typical inference based question. How about A? Car owners dream of owning cars, but the future may be public transport. Public transport has not been mentioned as a substitute for the passage, so it can be eliminated. B, in the near future, Tesla cars will rule the world. Now it says that Elon Musk is a big disruptor, but does it tell us that there is no competition to the cars made by Elon Musk? So this is again can't say. So if I look at A and B, both of them are can't say. C, electric cars will be driverless and totally controlled by tech. Can't say. D, the demise of the conventional combustion driven car is inevitable. This is something that we can infer from this. So when you know electrification is vital, and by 2050 we have to reduce global carbon emissions to zero. So from this we can say that the cars that do pollute, they will vanish by 2050. So their demise is inevitable. So this is the closest statement to being true on the basis of the given passage, and that is why our answer to question number 3 on the basis of this information should be option D. And here comes your fourth question based on the passage. So in paragraph 1, 2 and 3, the author gives the anecdote about rolling coal to argue that. So every anecdote is supposed to prove a point, support a point. So which one of these points is getting supported? So let's see. A, there exists tensions between electric vehicles and conventional cars. No, the tension is between the owners of conventional cars and the owners of electric vehicles. And even that tension appears to be one-sided, where the EV guys do not have a problem with them. They are not using rolling coal, but the combustion engine driven trucks definitely have some problem with the electronic vehicle. So there are two problems with A. Number one, the tension is between people and not vehicles. And number two, it is not about all the owners of conventional cars and all the owners of electric vehicles. Okay, B, some people still do not support the rise of electric cars. You can definitely conclude that from that anecdote. So those guys who were driving the trucks and used rolling coal, they are obviously unhappy with electric cars. C, was that the point of the anecdote, to tell us that rolling coal has its advantages and disadvantages? Which advantage has been mentioned in the passage? None. So let's eliminate. Rolling coal is environmentally damaging and therefore illegal. Yes, it is damaging. Yes, it is illegal. But was that the purpose of that anecdote? No, the purpose was to show that for those drivers, those truckers, it was their way of showing displeasure, and therefore our answer to question number 4 should be option B. That's the only thing that can actually be stated as true. So that takes care of our passage 1.